Yeah, I don't think that trick works. Anyways, I just got out of the movie theater from watching Pressure, the new World War II biopic about the days leading up to D-Day, focusing on Group Captain Stagg, I believe his name was, who was the main meteorologist in charge of pretty much predicting the weather and giving the go-ahead as to whether or not they could proceed as scheduled for D-Day. And really, I only just saw one trailer of the movie before this came out, and so this is kind of somewhat on my radar. I'm kind of a little bit of a history guy. Might be doing more videos about it. Recorded one unposted video years ago for being extra about some World War II Band of Brothers related stuff. But anyways, speaking of Band of Brothers, it stars one of the gentlemen who had a very small part in Band of Brothers. I think in the second episode, I think he played Hall. So you see him and Damian Lewis returning from Band of Brothers to play other characters in this World War II biopic. And this movie was standard, historical drama fare. Really, it's just a movie on a little known real life story about just the what had happened in the days leading up to the D-Day. And anybody, if you don't already know, it's a common known thing for history in the fact that weather was a huge factor towards the invasion of Normandy. They were sitting on the planned dates of it. It was a huge operation, of course. For the uninitiated, it's pretty much the opening scene is Saving Private Ryan, essentially those beach landings in France when the Allies came in to begin the invasion to Europe to defeat the Germans, defeat the Nazi Germany. This movie was solid. I'd say nothing terribly to write home about. Pinching pennies, you can wait this one out. But if you really are into the World War II stuff, this one's worth a view. I mean, it's just basic historical drama. Pretty fascinating. Wasn't really aware of how rudimentary forecasting and meteorology was back then. It was more sort of like you had to do manual number crunching and stuff because they didn't really have weather models like they do now, nor did they have sophisticated measuring technology that you have to radio in or phone in all the data and reading from all the weather stations up to minute and then just do the calculations manually. So basically this is a standard story of a guy, the main meteorologist, who pretty much just was like the main dissenting opinion as to whether or not they could proceed as scheduled for D-Day, because everything, of course, was riding on this to go off without a hitch, and the timing had to be just perfect. And he pretty much had to get pushback to the conventional assumptions or knowledge of the time to know that it wasn't going to go as planned, that they had a delay. And the casting for Brendan Fraser as General Eisenhower was an interesting choice. He wouldn't be the first person I would have picked, but he turned into a solid performance. I liked Damian Lewis as Bernard Montgomery. He seemed kind of more natural to him. You really mostly know Damian Lewis from playing Winters in Band of Brothers, and then most recently from Farnham Hall. So he seems more of in his pocket here, in his natural British, playing a British part. And the main gentleman, and I feel bad for me not knowing his name off the bat, but I know him as, I think, Hall from Band of Brothers, like I mentioned before, and pretty solid. But then again, for this movie, I'd say it's it's a standard drama fare. Truth be told, though, you can check this out on streaming. Excuse me, sorry, had a late day. And it's not a bad one. Comfortable flick. Worth the time, I suppose, if you're into that kind of thing. But other than that, it's just it was what it was. It's just a solid drama movie. I enjoyed it. I had to take a leak during the movie, and it's really tough when you have to hold in your piss and can't really find it. You have to find a time to have your filmmaking, storytelling brain to know when's probably going to be a lull where they can probably, okay, I think now I could go. which I think I picked a good spot to go. But yeah, no, a simple, quick little flick. Didn't overstay his welcome. The runtime was pretty manageable and pretty solid. I will say, though, that the portrayal of the finale for the actual invasion was a little different than I was expecting. Obviously, you do see the limits of the budget of the movie, you know, and it's a very abridged version of it because that's really not the focus of it. The focus was really just in the minds of the people planning the invasion, and just they're all just like understandably nervous as fuck to see that this operation goes off successfully, because the victory of the entire war depended on it. You know, if they there were no do-overs, there was no second chances. So I did notice a little bit of the budget being stretched out, but also really just the portrayal of the airborne jumps, because I don't know how accurate it really was, or if there was other airborne units that jumped later on in the day, but you'll see when you see the movie close to the end during the montage, where it's like getting into spoiler territory, I guess. But, you know, I wasn't aware of any daytime operations for airborne jumping in, and they could, for the little quick little snippets that they show daytime instead of, evening jumps, because, of course, from what I understand with Band of Brothers, they had to jump in the night before to, you know, to secure some objectives behind enemy lines in preparation for the beach the following morning. Anyways, yeah, you know, if you're into history stuff, historical dramas, check it out, I suppose. But if not, you know, it's worth waiting for streaming wherever it comes out. But, you know, it's just a small little flick that I just chose to watch today because it was one of the new movies coming out this week. And, yeah, so anyways, that's my little ramble and review. And yeah, I'm going to be coming back with another one here, and so hopefully I'll get back into the better rhythm of things now that the summer's here, and I have a little bit more of a decent theatrical schedule to stick to, and utilize my membership while I can, because I've been sitting on it and not using it and not getting my money's worth. But today was a good one, so yeah, I enjoyed it. I personally liked it. But then again, if I didn't have this membership, I would not pay as much money as a movie ticket would cost these days to watch it. Not to say that it's bad, but it's just, let's be realistic here. You know, unless if you're really flush with cash and you want a good, solid flick to pass the time with, and this is your thing, then yeah, sure, it's worth a watch, I suppose. But anyways, yeah, you check it out. Check it out if you like, but, you know, no rush. Not really meh about it. I mean, again, there's other more forgettable movies out there, and this is not one of them. So if you're into that kind of thing, check it out. Anyways, yeah. See you guys in the next one. Take it easy.